To us, water insecurity is a far-off problem. It's something we see in dystopian books, movies,
20 years we've had the drought,
and even musicals.
and our reservoirs all dried up. I take my baths now in a coffee cup. I boil with and in some privilege to read.
When we see it in the real world, it's in communities that are far off from us, or we see it as an irregularity in our own backyard.
Flint's tap water was laced with dangerous levels of lead.
But water insecurity is a problem today. According to the World Health Organization, 1 in every 3 people globally don't have access to clean and safe water. I surveyed about 30 students, both in high school and college, about what they knew of the threat of water insecurity. To put it simply, their knowledge was vague. When asked where the first place they thought of when they heard the term water insecurity, 43.8% said Africa, 37.5% said Flint, Michigan, and 12.5% said various other developing third world countries. A mere 6.3% had other unique answers. I then asked what they thought was the biggest contributor to water insecurity. The leading answer was pollution, followed by climate change, and then concerns about poor infrastructure and a lack of federal or state management. The tricky thing is, all of these answers are correct. All of these issues have been culminating into a global water crisis that, for some reason, is slipping under the radar of many. The crisis in Flint is certainly tragic, but the uglier truth is that there are thousands of US cities struggling just as much as Flint. Lead poisoning and reservoir drought are issues that are impacting water allocation across the country and even across the globe. To find out more about this, I spoke with Kate Kligas, a graduate from the University of Denver with a bachelor's in geography and Spanish and a minor in international studies, who is currently an educator in the Basque region of Spain and a researcher on water allocation disparity in South Africa.
Do you want my last name?
Oh, and she's also my sister.
Our last name?
Yes, I would like our last name.
Hi, I'm Kate Kligas. We went as a field geography course to learn the physical geography of the country and also the human geography, the different cultures that live there, the various different communities with their own languages, kind of to just get a general sense of the country itself, and then kind of visiting different sites, diving deeper into its history and into its relationship with its natural environment. South Africa is located in the bottom of the world in a Mediterranean climate, which is probably the most important type of climate to be studying during climate change and when we speak about water insecurity.
Why is that?
Its rainy season and its dry season are in the past have been very concrete. Where it's mostly dry, mostly hot, and then they have the few months, depending on where in the world it's located. When we talk about this in the year 2020, climate change has begun to raise the temperature, which has made these previously predictable climate patterns of rain and dry season unpredictable.
So you talked about how you did research on the human geography and the actual geography of the land. What have you guys been researching in terms of water in the area?
Yes. We decided to look at a township. We're talking about a place that is on the outskirts of Cape Town. Cape Town is located at the base of a mountain. And then this community, it's called Langa. It is located basically in the sand dunes. So you have to run. South Africa gets its water, Cape Town gets its water from reservoirs in the mountains from rainfall. And so the main town gets it fairly easily because the infrastructure is advantaged to delivering water down from the mountains. Then you have to run extra piping and extra infrastructure all the way to the Cape Flats, to Langa, the townships, through sand, through a lot of poorly done infrastructure. Again, the changes in the climate and the changing of the predictability of the rainfall, yes, has had a big direct impact, but more so has impacted the water allocation, which is controlled by the government. When we have in South Africa a season that didn't get as much water, for example, the past few seasons, especially in 2017 and 2018, the agricultural sector was already taking the water, that even the small amount of water that was filling the reservoirs, they were taking the water. Essentially, it was hard to predict. And what they were used to, their numbers, they were used to the levels of water that each reservoir was getting, and then all of a sudden, when they weren't getting those levels for a season, it's kind of too late. These communities like Langa, who are already at a disadvantage, are now even receiving less water because of that.
So how has your research on water insecurity and how climate change has been negatively impacting that, how has that changed your view about how you see water, just like your access to water and water in our everyday lives?
You know, what I'm interested as a geographer is a community's relationship to their natural environment. And so after being in South Africa, after visiting different communities around the country, meeting people and realizing we've got a lot of work to do, for sure.
So, what does this mean for us? I know that my research into this topic has really opened my eyes to the rapidly increasing threat of water insecurity. As a teen who comes from an affluent suburb, who goes to a top university, I know I take water for granted, and I'm sure many of you do too. But hearing about so many people around the world, even those just a few miles from us, who can't access a basic human necessity, it has drastically shifted my view on water. So, what can we do? To start, we can start treating water like a scarce resource. Take shorter showers, use reusable water bottles, sure. But also, educate yourself on how your community manages water. Is there an allocation discrepancy? Is the treatment plan wasteful? Is your community contributing to pollution and contamination? If the answer is yes, then it's time for you to speak up and make positive change drip down.
Oh, I've been waiting for something to change, but